Hello and welcome to Gameplay, ladies and gentlemen, the eSports show that keeps you in the know of all things high school and university eSports. Today we're catching up with some recent activity within the space, but also I have my Game Chat interview where I catch up with a representative from the Kiro School and we get to know more about their plans about the growth of high school eSports locally. Let's jump right in. Jumping right into our eSports catch-up. Recently, we were at Wynberg Girls High School chatting about Rocket League. Rocket League, one of the more successful titles locally, as well as the fastest growing. We're talking more about the title and how to grow within the esports space. Let's take a look.
We're at Wynberg Girls, here doing a talk about Rocket League and esports in South Africa.
The point of the event actually is to introduce new people to the game of Rocket League, get them involved, show them what it's all about.
Initially there was a lot of trepidation and uncertainty because a lot of them hadn't really played the game before, and I think everyone that came had a really good time and were actually quite surprised how much fun they had in playing the game.
Today was great actually. So far I'm having a lot of fun seeing the kids all play the game. It's kind of like bringing back memories from when I first started.
Today has been interesting. We got a lot of viewpoints from students and people super interested in joining the Rocket League community. We're looking forward to doing more of these around the country, so look out at a school near you.
Rocket League, a title that has so much potential for the future and a lot of talent locally that are getting involved. But further from that, this one is a bit of a throwback, but PRG had hosted the Student Showdown, an event that allowed for students to compete and showcase their talents across multiple titles. Let's take a look at that footage.
Today's event was a very good event. It's been grown since the previous event which we held in February. I think it's grown, the kids enjoyed it and the competition got a little bit harder, so it's great for them. A lot of people don't understand esports yet, so we hope for growth in esports and then actually trying to build in a system that's sustainable over years.
I think something more school orientated feels a lot more like comfortable to play, like you're with your age group and your people and it's all like almost as if everyone's friends, and it's not that it's not serious, but it's a lot more fun to play it.
This should be a finish, it is indeed!
I think bringing teams together and making them perform very good is team synergy and actually just getting time and playing with each other. You can be very good individuals, like in any other sport, but if you don't train together, don't play together, you'll get far, but you'll never get to the end.
Train, play more and watch other guys who are professionals play. That's the best way to learn.
Find yourself a carry like Luca and then you're all set.
You have to be dedicated as well. That's a big thing. You really have to practice quite regularly.
Seeing how they play today and seeing all of them at the skill level that they are already playing at when they're only in school, I think when they put a lot more hours in, they can definitely achieve it because all of them are really good players.
From the beginning of the year when I took over, I had very little knowledge of esports, so I got to get in contact with Nick Holden from ACGL. And they've helped us every step of the way this year in building certain structures. I think the success of this event was having other teams here as well, other schools, building some good friendships, speaking to other teachers as well.
The highlight of my day was We were playing all as a team. We were all playing fast. Everybody's synergy was good, and we were just having fun.
Being online is a lot different, and it's a lot better in LAN because you're with your team and you can do fist bumps, and the vibe is a lot better.
Looking forward to playing the teams again, playing alongside my teammates.
I had a lot of fun today playing in the LAN tournament of Clash Royale, especially like meeting new people, playing Clash Royale against them, and being actually in person, talking to them while we play. It was an experience.
To start esports at your school is very easy. Most kids have got their own devices. It's not going to cost the school in the beginning very much. You don't have to provide everything for them. Most kids do have. So easiest would be just to contact people. ACGL has helped a lot, especially in the Western Cape. Mainly just start, get names on paper. Even if the team's not good in the beginning, the good players will come very quickly.
Now, moving away from our catch-up, it's time for our gaming opportunities in your area. Open them ears, because these are things you do not want to miss out on. First of all, we have the Kuro Clash LAN, and if you are a school student and you want to compete in a LAN for schools, this is your opportunity. Head on over to acgl.gg and check out the Kuro Clash LAN that is going to be happening this weekend. Time is running out, so don't miss out on this opportunity. It is going to be a LAN held at Durbanville, Cape Town, so don't miss out on this opportunity. And further from that, the MTN Shift gaming experience is back. 8 malls across Cape Town and Joburg. And this weekend, it kicks off in Cape Town at Somerset Mall from the 14th to the 16th of June. There will be spot prizes to be won, as well as tournaments in EAFC 24, Street Fighter 6, and more to compete in. Do not miss out on this opportunity, and make sure you keep an eye out on all socials this coming month for the MTN Shift gaming experience. Alrighty, now it's time to go plug in those controllers, take a bit of a break, but don't take too long, because on the other side of this I have my game chat with Mags from Kuro, and this is going to be quite the interesting conversation. Catch you after the short break. Welcome back, folks. It's time for our game chat. So before my break, I did say I will be having my game chat with another special guest, and now is that time. Introducing my special guest, Magdalene de Kok, aka Mad Mags. Mags, how are we doing today?
I'm very well, thank you, Skara, and you?
I am fantastic. It's such a pleasure having you on the show finally. But getting into Kuro and what you're all about. Kuro are a school that have been involved in the high school esports space for quite some time now, constantly spreading awareness about the growth of esports and its benefits, while also actively investing towards its growth. Through the formation of teams across the various Kuro schools in South Africa, competing in multiple titles, hosting numerous Kuro Clash LANs, and hosting the Kuro Indaba, a workshop that coaches more about the space and allowing for coaches and teachers to learn more and more on how to get involved. You guys have really come a long, long way. And I just want to actually speak on what actually got Kuro into esports and how has that journey been thus far?
It's been a roller coaster. And mostly we started in 2020 when we were approached by Microsoft to introduce Minecraft esports for the first time. And we were the first school group globally to start with Minecraft education as an esports. We had our first introduction and we asked kids who wants to join, and we had an overwhelming 2,000 kids just wanting to start the first league that we did. We unfortunately couldn't accommodate them, but we saw the potential. And then in 2021, Kiro officially adopted esports as an official sport at all our Kiro schools, which is amazing from the company perspective, seeing the value of esports. And it's just been growing ever since. And I think our partnership with ASA for Education really pushed us to the next level.
And was it daunting at first? I mean, you just said 2,000 students. Isn't that scary, looking at those numbers?
It is. I wasn't involved a lot with that first league. We were just participating. But then our managers saw that they're going to need help. And I was one of the lucky ones, along with Bertus, to start doing this part-time. And then in 2022, we saw now this is growing beyond just a part-time. And I luckily got to start doing esports for Kiro full-time. We've expanded from just doing internal leagues to now this year opening up all our leagues to all external schools as well. Not just being in Kiro anymore, but community schools, involving community schools, encouraging schools to do local events. We've got our LANs, the Indabas, like you mentioned. We've doubled in size every single year as we've grown. So it's absolutely been an amazing journey so far.
So beautiful to see so much growth coming from a space where there's just endless potential, right? When you look at it from the outside perspective, even inside, you just see how much there is that the high school space can offer. But speaking on that, with all of this growth happening within the high school and university space at a point, what are the importance of this growth at these grassroots levels and esports being inducted into high schools and letting these learners get involved at a younger age?
Well, when we started really seeing that we need to put more effort into this, and with the partnership with ASA for Education, we got introduced to ACGL, you guys, and you helped us really establish our LANs, our tournaments, having a professional tournament platform that we used for a while. And then we saw that we need to base this more on a strategy. And we adopted the whole esports ecosystem into a strategy for our esports, where we encourage all our schools to also adopt and create a strategy on how they will adopt esports at their schools. That involves everything from their infrastructure to their coaches, what type of lessons they are doing. Are they just playing, or are they actually doing some in-depth educational value to the esports as well? And I think that's one of the most important things for us. Is it shouldn't just be gaming for the sake of gaming. Esports lessons, esports at school should be also based in education, have some educational value to it. From digital literacy to cyber safety, security, all of those things needs to be included in any of our esports endeavors that we have at our schools. We want to create a safe space for our learners where they can explore and they can learn and they can really see the potential. There's so many career opportunities from the esports environment that the kids can grow into. And it's important that we give our learners exposure into every single one of those elements, from tournament organizing to broadcasting to shoutcasting. All of that needs to be involved when you are doing esports at high school and primary school levels.
Definitely, and that's the nuance, right? You are not only trying to just show that it's just about gaming. To you guys, it's more about that, right? You want to show people that it's not just about what's in front of the screen, but what's behind and what can be showcased across the board, right?
Exactly. So when we started esports at our Kiro schools, some of our parents were very reluctant to have their learners participate. They didn't really understand the concept of esports and the difference between esports and just grinding a game, right? So there's a huge difference in those two concepts. And with all of our webinars that we've been doing, parent webinars, informing them a little bit, product training with our staff, and really establishing that this is far beyond just gaming. And I think our in-person events are really important to carry that message. We have our Western Cape LAN coming up now in a couple of days' time. Very excited for that. We've doubled our numbers. I don't know how we're going to fit everybody in the hall, but luckily that's not my problem. That's up to Nick and his team. So it is absolutely amazing to see how the parents get involved at these events. The parents actually pitch up, and then they start seeing that it's more than just gaming. And the same way that a learner who is practicing rugby or netball needs to put in effort, you know, there's more than just practicing during school hours. They really have to put in some work if they want to be a serious esports athlete. You have to put in the time, you have to put in the hours, you do have to do the research, you know, reevaluate your game, sit with your coach. If you want to get external coaching, I mean, there's so many potential and amazing gamers out there, you know, who can provide some guidance. And I think that's where we're going.
It's such a beautiful thing to be able to see a lot more growth and involvement, not only from all the established brands and organizations that are already a part of the scene, but now learners, teachers, parents as well, now getting into the space. And we already mentioned the Cura and Daba, but that's also something where you've been able to educate more teachers. But let's speak more on your LANs that you've been hosting. So in partnership with ASA and ACGL, Cura has been hosting Cura Clash LANs across South Africa for some time now, right? Allowing for a space for students to be able to compete and have a little environment where they can learn and grow. Are these a part of plans that Cura have in place to grow the space and provide more opportunities?
Yes. We have seen in 2022, we were only playing online. And we saw the need for learners to, especially after COVID, they needed to move out of the online space and they needed to see the potential. I mean, we hear about Comic-Con and Rage. That's the only real spaces where they can go and see, but nothing has been geared in those spaces towards primary school learners specifically. So when we decided to start implementing the LAN concept again, we really said we want to make sure that we do make a space for our primary school learners as well as the high school learners, because they feed into each other. You can't have a successful high school esports program if you don't have feeding athletes going into that program. And to do that, you need to start at primary school level. So we saw the need for this safe space to be created. And that's when we started in 2023 with the first Gauteng LAN at Krugersdorp. It was a huge success. We said, right, we're going to do one in Western Cape as well. And then we went on to our national LAN. Now, this was a very big dream of mine, and I know the guys were all like, I don't know how you're going to make this happen, but we will. Where we gave the learners a chance to either compete online or at 2 physical venues. We had over 390 learners participate last year in September in that LAN, either at a physical venue or online. But this year, our Gauteng LAN, again, growth. This year, Western Cape LAN in a couple of days, growth again. I think the main thing that we saw the need for is a space where learners can start seeing and playing with their learners. Now, I've got an interesting story, if you'll allow me.
Oh, definitely. Be my guest.
Last year at our Western Cape LAN, we had a little boy, a grade 5 boy, and he really struggled to manage his emotions in a physical space where he suddenly was surrounded by people. And he had a tantrum because they lost. And, you know, he couldn't cope. And suddenly people were looking at him and he was in the, you know, there were people around him and he wasn't used to that because he used to be able to do that in his room all by himself. Nobody would see him. And that went from same little boy going to the national LAN, and suddenly he was completely changed. He saw the potential of collaborating. That same boy who couldn't talk to the other teams at the first Western Cape LAN, at the national LAN, he was sitting with his opponents, asking for tips, getting taught by a different team from a different school, and showing him hints and tips on how to manage the game, in-game. It was a completely different boy sitting there, and that's because he could actually do this at a physical venue. It wasn't just an online random event in the digital space. We gave them the opportunity to come in person and see and collaborate and play. And yeah, it's just amazing the opportunities that's created for our learners.
And is that one of the things that you're trying to tackle, is not just providing a space for these learners to game, but to be able to connect, learn, and grow?
Yes, exactly. The same way that you would have a rugby team running on the field, playing and celebrating. That's one of the biggest things why we have a main stage at all of our lands. Adamant that there must be a main stage where these learners can go and play their final matches, that they get that recognition, they find that absolute thrill of being able to be on a main stage and play in a final, giving them the chance to really collaborate with their friends, make connections with other schools, learners in other schools, and it's all about the esports community as a whole. And if we start developing that community from primary school level, can you imagine where we will be in 5-10 years' time with all of these hundreds of learners moving through the system, going to university? Yeah, it's great.
It's beautiful. And I'm just curious though, has there been challenges? Of course there's been, but what has been your biggest challenge, especially when it comes to maybe trying to convince other schools to get involved? Yeah. What has that process been like?
I think our biggest challenge is human resources. Coaches at schools having enough time to really get their esports to the level that they really want and which the learners deserve. I think that's our biggest problem at the moment, or not a problem, but our hurdle. And that's the same, not just at Kira schools, but at other schools as well, is our coaches. Also, what we need to remember is these coaches are teachers. They are not expert gamers, but they are willing to do this. So you will have a coach who's never played Rocket League. They've got no idea what Valorant is, but they have these kids passionate about the game, and they have to make it work. So that's one of our biggest challenges, is just to support our coaches. Hence the Indaba, where we had our coaches for 3 days immersed in esports, showing them how the games work as well as how to host tournaments, how to shoutcast and broadcast, so that they themselves have the knowledge to take back to their schools. We saw a double in our numbers in our Indaba from last year to this year, and it's definitely going to be an annual event. And we want to encourage as many schools, not just Kira schools, to come and be part of it. Come and see, come and join, come and learn from the experts that we have at these events, so that you are able to take it back to your school and provide the highest caliber program that you can at your school. We're doing this for the learners because every learner counts. In our schools, every learner counts. That's why we do it. I'm not doing this for myself. We're doing this for the kids.
Beautiful. And that's the most important thing, is the goal in mind is not just for us, but for the next generation.
Yes.
So with all of that and learning about the passion of not just you, but all the other teachers and coaches involved, is there any piece of advice or little words of wisdom for any teachers or parents that are watching now and might be a bit hesitant or still have that doubt at the back of their mind about esports and where it may be in future? As you note, all those opportunities and how to get involved with the esports scene, there's also still super sports schools as well now that are getting involved. Super sports schools, YouTube, super sports schools app. There's so many more ways for you to get that information now and try to get involved.
Yes, and I think the most important thing is that parents need to reach out, teachers need to reach out. They need to go and just ask the questions. I think that's the biggest thing that you need to know, is don't be afraid to ask, to find the information. Contact your nearest Kira school or ASL, or go onto the website, Super Sports Schools, find the links, and just get the information. And if you are in Western Cape, come and join the LAN and come see what it's about. Come and see how the kids are really having fun and doing this in a safe space.
Yeah, folks, you heard it here yourself. This is your opportunity to start getting involved. Check out Super Sports Schools, check out ACGL, check out Kuro. So many more spaces. But, ladies and gentlemen, that has been my game chat for today. It has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Scar.
Thank you so much, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure. Catch you next week, same time, same place. This has been Gameplay. I have been Scara, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, gamers. GG's.